I don't really want to do it.
Yeah,
intro.
I know. I already have an idea.
Okay.
Hello, friends from India. We hear that you guys are having a terrible time with COVID-19, and today's video is all about that. And we just wanted to acknowledge that, to say that our hearts are with you, that we love you, and we're just, praying for you guys to get through this. And we wanted to get a sense of how things got to this. And one of the ways of doing that is we have a video from CBC, which is our broadcasting corporation. They've done a video here titled What's Behind India's Huge Spike in COVID-19 Cases. Now, if you follow us on Instagram, you'll notice that we actually made a post. It was a BBC article that we posted earlier today. A few of you guys have been weighing in with your perspective, so we already have a pretty good idea of how things got the way
we've been hearing some things about Modi and just sort of like how his response, and
yeah, people are really
I don't know exactly, because they had a really, really strict lockdown, I think, initially, but they even closed, because it was pretty intense. They closed liquor stores which I don't think is, doesn't make any sense.
Listen to what,
but then lately, apparently they I think opened everything, and we're having these large crowd gatherings.
What I heard was that they maybe started celebrating a little bit too soon. That they thought they'd maybe gotten into the clear, and that things were starting to get back to normal. And that was definitely, clearly is not the case.
What was pretty shocking was they requested Twitter to take tweets down that were, I think, critical to their response, and Twitter agreed and then removed tweets.
Very strange, very strange.
So,
well, I wanted to read something here that one of our friends, Punjabi Review, said in the comment section on our post on Instagram. They said, it's clear that the government has failed. They were busy doing political rallies. Government is trying to defend their image now. They just told social media companies to remove some posts that criticize government failure. BJP just doesn't want to accept that thousands are dying because of them. They didn't prepare for the second wave. They had months to prepare. People are begging for oxygen. Thousands are dying every day, and yet government is not doing much. Honestly, I'm tired of the government. I don't know how many people have to give their lives. So obviously a lot of frustration, a lot of anger at the government here.
What does BJP stand
for? That is
again?
the political party. Yeah.
The party, like Modi's party.
Yeah.
What's the full name?
Oh gosh, I'd have to look that up.
Okay, well, you guys can tell us in the comments.
Yeah, definitely. And, there is definitely a lot of anger at Mr. Modi in the comments. I'm seeing a lot of comments against him.
He was holding political rallies for, is there another election coming up or something?
I had heard that there were some elections happening, and there were big gatherings. There was large religious gatherings. So he wasn't being
concerned.
There was sports gatherings. So things, it was almost like, hey, we got through the worst of it. Let's get back to normal. And then obviously the second wave
it's almost like he's trying to hide how bad it is, it seems.
I don't know, but there's a lot of anger here. I'm very curious to see what the CBC has to say about things. And actually, maybe one thing to mention is they're talking about the people that are dying every day, and how it's very likely a low estimate that the numbers we're getting are very much on the low side, that there's a lot more people dying at home. There's a lot of people dying that haven't been documented, that haven't gone to the hospital. And it's just a real tragic situation. So once again, guys, our hearts really do go out to you. We've got a lot of friends in India. We love you guys a whole lot. And we know you're going to get through this, but it's going to be very challenging here moving forward.
Has set a global daily infection record for the third straight day. More than 346,000 new cases and more than 2,600 deaths. That daily case count is the highest ever in any country since this pandemic began. It has led to some hospitals.
These poor people waiting in their cars. They don't have beds.
Experts attribute the soaring infection rate in part to the emergence of the new variant B.1.617.
That's when you really start to realize how devastating this disease is, because everyone, I think, can appreciate what it's like to not be able to breathe properly, or what that might feel like. And then you see this gentleman here struggling to breathe, and they don't have the oxygen to give all these people.
So
I think
it's terrifying.
Well, what could be more terrifying than not being able to breathe?
Journalist Aditya Rajkal is the contributing editor of CNN News 18, and he's following this story for us from New Delhi. Aditya, good to see you this evening.
Good to see you, Natasha.
So, Aditya, in Canada...
this is what they were talking about. We were reading the comments before the video, and Sean was saying that they were talking about all this static in this video with the audio. So that's what's happening now.
So it's probably really good content. We just got to struggle through all this static electricity here.
5,000 or 6,000 cases in a day. It's horrifying to so many people in this country. It seems really overwhelming. I can't imagine 346,000. It just seems surreal at this point. Give us a sense of what is going on across the country.
What I can tell you, Natasha, is that the Indian healthcare system and the medical system has crashed completely. It has been paralyzed. It isn't that, people weren't prepared. Yes, there were a lot of preparations underway at the federal level and at the state level as well. But the numbers are horrific, just like you stated. I mean, there are more than 300,000 cases coming every day. There are more than 2,000, 3,000 people dying every day.
That is shocking. That is unbelievable, because we're Canadian, so we come from a small country, and for us, I mean, 300,000 is several times the size of our city. That's where we're coming from.
It's like 3 times the size. Of our city.
More than that, even, probably. Unreal. Devastating.
Every day in the country, particularly in the national capital, New Delhi, and the NCR region, and Maharashtra. There are mind-boggling figures that are coming in. I'm talking to you right now from the national capital, New Delhi, where there is no oxygen that is available in hospitals. There are SOS calls being made by several prominent private as well as public hospitals that oxygen is lacking.
Wow.
There's been a widespread criticism also of both the state as well as the central government, but this is an unprecedented crisis. Prime Minister of India, Narendra Modi, has been, in fact, holding several meetings all through the day. Today and for the last 2 days. There's been some criticism also of the election rallies that were happening in West Bengal and some of the religious gatherings as well.
This is what I've heard.
But as of now, all preparations are for more beds to arrive in several hospitals in Delhi, because I have started with my friends, with my network, a crisis helpline for COVID, and I haven't seen this kind of helplessness in people for searching for beds, oxygen, for injections or medicine. So this is
Now, I'm hearing that as a result of that, there's a certain black market for some of this stuff, right? Because people are desperate. They need what they need, and they want to survive, and they want to help their loved ones. I think as a Canadian, I sort of got the sense that India was doing quite well, because Modi was, giving vaccines away. They were giving vaccines to other countries. It was like, wow, they must be doing all right if they can give those away.
When we were covering like the farmers' protests, it was, they did the whole India Day parade.
Yeah.
And then I remember seeing crowds of people. Not everyone was even wearing a mask. And I was like, how are the farmers not getting sick?
Well, I do recall them social distancing at the parade that you're talking about. What I remember from
at the Republic
in the crowds,
Day?
they were set apart. Some people had masks on. So it appeared that there was a push to sort of acknowledge the social distancing protocols. The one thing that I remember was the floats that was really touting, India's vaccine and their ability to create their own vaccine and produce enough. And obviously, things went sideways since then.
I don't know. They made it. I saw they made it available for 18 plus, but I don't think they had really finished administering it to the vulnerable. So they kind of switched strategy and then made it available for 18 plus instead of just making sure I could be wrong, but I saw this in an article where it was like, oh, well, they made it like this. They sort of changed tactics. And then as of, when was it? March? That's probably wrong. I don't know. They made it available to everyone. And then they've been using mostly, there's one that was made in India.
Yeah,
but
that's the one that was made in India.
But they're
because
saying
they actually have the biggest capacity to do that in the world.
In the India one, they're saying it's like the same as the AstraZeneca.
Okay.
So they have AstraZeneca and then the one in India. So it's both just like the AstraZeneca.
As I understand it now, it's sort of like, they're getting as many vaccines as they can get, and wow.
Hopefully that helps.
Crisis that comes but rare, and India is certainly tackling this bravely. I mean, it is only the resilience of the people on the streets of New Delhi and elsewhere in India that is keeping the nation going. But unfortunately, even in New Delhi, more than 350 people are dying every day. That means 15 deaths taking place every hour, Natasha.
Aditya, how did this happen? Because just a few months ago, India was doing fine. In fact, one of the leading world producers of the vaccine, they were sending vaccines to Canada. We were depending.
I remember seeing actually, I didn't see this locally, but I saw a billboard that was actually thanking Mr. Modi and reinforcing the friendship between Canada and India. Was it perhaps too soon for him to start giving those vaccines away?
I don't know.
On those vaccines. And now, what was the switch, the catalyst to this dramatic surge in cases?
Well, Natasha, there are various reasons. One, as I mentioned, there's been a lot of criticism of a lackadaisical approach at the federal and the state level as well. There are several state governments that have been criticized for not preparing enough. And also the kind of hard line that was approached, the kind of discipline that was there over the last 1 year or so had really, gone haywire because people were almost used to being in this, COVID-friendly environment, if I had to say. So the COVID-appropriate behavior hasn't really been, disciplined enough all across the country. Secondly, the government was prepared, but unfortunately did not understand or gauge that this kind of unprecedented numbers could also happen. Also, there is a new variant that has come in, and there are multiple new variants that have come in, not just in New Delhi, but in different other states as well. Which the scientists haven't been able to research, in detail. I will give you an example of my old friend who has been in his house for more than 2 weeks. He has had no, access to outside world, but he's COVID positive as well. So, scientists are still trying to figure out how things are unfolding, but it doesn't seem like that things will get normal.
What's he saying? His friend is quarantined and positive? And what does he mean by that? What point was he making?
I'm not really sure. The thing that I was
how things are unfolding, he's saying?
I'm not really sure what the point is. Is he maybe saying that this gentleman is holed up at home yet still got infected, and maybe this is a sign of these more aggressive variants? As I understand it, one of the challenges here is, and they mentioned it a bit earlier, that there was 7 or 8 different organizations that were sort of managing this, or 8 different states or regions or sections of how the healthcare. As I understand it, they aren't really sharing information between each other in the ways that maybe they should be, and so there's a difficulty to sort of track the whole picture and to see what's going on. And another challenge around that is when they're not effectively sharing information, we're also not effectively tracking these variants, because when a variant emerges, you want to target that, and you want to, really get serious about things. And so, but once again, we can barely appreciate this because we're a country of 30 something million. They're a country of 1 billion. So the logistics must be, I can't even fathom.
Well, I also hope that they're tracking data with vaccinated people as well. Like, I'm going to make some points that might be more unpopular, but it'd be great to have follow up of is the vaccine, what is the effectiveness? Are the people dying and getting sick, were they vaccinated, or is it all the people that didn't get vaccinated? And then that'll sort of tell more of the story too.
And it seems like getting statistics is a challenge at this point, or getting reliable statistics.
It's a certain percentage effectiveness, but you can still catch it. I'm watching just random podcasts, not even about COVID, talking about people who were fully vaccinated, fully had the Pfizer, and then they got it. They both got it. And then, so we don't really know exactly how effective I don't know. It's interesting because AstraZeneca from other places, they were only giving it to a certain age too. and there's different ones, and so they're all kind of different and act in a different way. But it'd be good if they were sort of also following up on that. And I'm just hoping there's no like backfire reaction on it. I don't know. It's like you are putting something in your body that is, I think, a protein of the virus. Like, I don't know. I hope it's
You hope it's
the
safe. You hope
vaccine
it's
helps.
effective.
I hope it is good and helps.
Yeah.
That's all I'm going to say about that.
And soon in Delhi, at least for the next 15 to 20 days, the numbers are only going to swing up. As of now, as I speak, there's a lockdown underway for last 1 week in the national capital, New Delhi. And if things remain this way, 25,000 cases coming every day in the national capital, I sense a further lockdown, unfortunately.
25,000 possible cases every day. So Aditya, help me. We don't have a lot of time left, but you talked about a sense of helplessness, but at the same time, so many people coming together, rallying together.
Being
there's
strong,
so much
being brave.
activity on social media, trying to tell people where beds are available, where they can send donations, things like that. Just give me a sense of what this has done to the individual families who are struggling right now, who can't find hospital beds.
Well, I have messages in my inbox on Twitter, on all across the social media, asking for help. And I've been posting that individually over the last many days. And unfortunately, there are no beds available in Delhi, government hospitals or private hospitals. As I said, hospitals, each and every hospital in Delhi is running at 150% capacity. So you can imagine the lives of several, innocents are at risk. The patients are shattered. It is the resilience of the common man here in India that is, shaping the entire movement of helping the common people. There are several WhatsApp groups that have been created. There are individuals and NGOs and common people really coming out and helping people. I've been part of one, Every Infant Matters. And with doctors and individuals from the forces and different strata of society, we are trying to help people. And, I'll give you an example of just, an hour back. It's midnight here in India. We were finally able to secure a bed for father of an Indian Air Force personnel who was not getting a bed for the last 2 days, even though he was critical. So you can imagine there was hundreds of applause virtually all across the volunteers that after several hours, we were able to manage this bed for this individual. Jeez. So I don't want to criticize the central government or the state government at this stage because this is no time to, for mudslinging. But, the government needs to be prepared, and the worst perhaps is yet to come. We haven't touched this, peak. I don't want to call this a second wave or the fourth wave as the politicians refer to this. But unfortunately, deaths are going to continue, cases are going to continue, and unfortunately, a lockdown here in India is certainly going to continue.
Now, I appreciate his approach, which is, save the mudslinging and the accusations for a later date. I mean, obviously, we want to discuss these things and be aware of how we got here at this point. But right now, the number one thing is saving lives and banding together to do that.
It's upsetting and stuff. But I guess when you're like in the thick of it, it's like there isn't really time to kind of focus on that.
Yeah, no,
like we're here.
Yeah, there's only so much mental resources.
We're screwed up right now, and we need to fix this shit.
Exactly. Your time is best spent figuring out how you can help those in need.
There's this other video. It's quite long, though. Maybe we'll do it at some point. India's triple mutation.
Wow.
Explained.
From NDTV. Yeah, we like NDTV a whole lot. Maybe you guys can make some suggestions on some other videos that we can check out to, get up to speed on this. Once again, our hearts go out to you. We love you guys. And this is Internet Rabbit Hole Daily.
Stay safe.
IRH signing off. See you guys.
Love you guys.